All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us on today's episode of the Seven Figure Agency podcast. I'm super pumped to be joined by Ray Malaski of, I guess it's Web Launch Local as well as Cleaning Clicks, right? I guess we'll talk a little bit about that as we go.
Yep.
And Ray's had a lot of growth and success in his agency over the last couple of months. And so I'm excited just to kind of interview him with what he's doing, what's working, and kind of unpack that with you guys. So let me start by joining you, welcoming you to join us. Ray, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. One thing that I do want to say is that your program has been instrumental to just putting my focus on where it needed to be. Naturally, I'm kind of an ADHD person, and that part of me, as you see in a lot of entrepreneurs, prevents you from progressing. So when you have such a structured program that says, look, here's what to do, boom, 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 go down this list, watch these videos, and just here's the templates. I mean, you literally give everybody everything. So, that's been key to us focusing, and again, why we have two brands. So
awesome. Well, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. So just kind of give us the high level overview. Like, tell us a little bit about your agency, who you serve, how many clients you have, what the recurring revenue type, kind of give us the lay of the land.
Yeah. So I really started this by accident. I was a cleaning business owner in the cleaning industry, and I just my strength was in the marketing, even though I didn't know marketing when I started it. I remember it's kind of funny. I went on Google and I did some research and all right, what do we do? Right. So I realized that there's this thing called Google My Business, and I'm like, okay, it's free to set up. What the heck? Let's set this up. So I did, and I had a Google Voice number dedicated to it, and it forwarded to our home phone. And we literally didn't have anything. We didn't have any tools to clean. We didn't have any checklists. I mean, it was a husband and wife sitting on the couch when we got our first phone call. And the phone rang, and I answered it, and they're like, hi, is this Missy's Maids? I'm like, yep, 1 second, hand the phone off to the wife. And we booked that client and cleaned for them. And right then, something just sparked in me the power of the internet. And I'm like, this is amazing. I literally did almost nothing, and we just got a customer. So what if I actually knew what I was doing and implemented these strategies? How many can we actually get? So that's when I went full to the wall. I'm going to figure this internet thing out. We hired an SEO company, and I kind of followed what they did and started following Google and what they suggest. And then I ended up letting them go and then doing the SEO by myself. And I ranked our site in about 60 locations. So we had 60 service areas because in Michigan we're rural. So we had
lots of little cities and towns.
Yeah, little tiny pockets. So I just, I went for it all, pretty much southeastern Michigan, and just ranked them all. And the same thing with AdWords. I had no idea what I was doing, and Google back then it was a $350 credit. So I took that $350 credit, I called Google up, and I said, all right, let's get a campaign set up. And we landed our first client, which actually turned out to be a hoarder, and it was a $3,500 job. So,
wow.
That was just off of, a $350 free credit. And again, here I am, mind blown, what the heck? I don't even know what I'm doing, and this is working. So just imagine if I could get this working. Fast forward through the years, I've networked in the industry. I know a lot of business owners, a lot of people, and I became kind of known as the guy to go to for help to my peers. And it just became to a point where it was overwhelming, and I couldn't just do this myself anymore. And I started charging, and, I started bringing on people, and, we initially started with just Google AdWords and then branched out to web design and SEO. And, fast forward, I sold that two and a half years ago to focus solely on Web Launch Local, which, our goal was to focus on local businesses. even though 90% of our business was from the cleaning industry. And why I didn't see the point that I should niche down and focus on that then, I don't know why. I had to come to your program to figure that out.
That's awesome. So you had a successful cleaning business. You learned the power of internet marketing, SEO, pay per click. You saw the results for yourself and you're like, well, hey, wait a minute. Why don't I start a company that does this? Went generalist and then said, well, why don't I apply my experience within the cleaning space? I already built it, sold a company in that space. And that's kind of what you're focused on. Not 100%, but that's kind of what you're focused on today.
Yeah. It is my goal to be 100% focused on that. I think that's where our strengths lie. And I know that your program pushes towards that. I'm just having a little bit of a brand identity crisis with letting Web Launch Local go, because we built the reviews and, people are searching for those terms on the web, and we're already ranking for all like the keyword related industry SEO with that site. So like cleaning websites, cleaning SEO, cleaning AdWords, we're already ranking. So I think that the plan is to probably man up and take that down and 301 everything to get cleaning clicks and start ranking that for it. Because the one thing that I've noticed is when you niche down, you just by niching down, you have literally changed the whole conversation with that customer when they come to your brand. You now are not a generalist. You are speaking specifically to their problems. So when they land on my site, it's not grow your local business, it's grow your cleaning business, and just by changing those words, it changes the conversion rate. And it's a beautiful thing.
No doubt. So can you kind of, from a high level, just kind of tell us approximately how many clients you're serving at this point in your agency and approximately how much recurring revenue?
Yeah. So we have about 40 clients right now. We're doing like 350, 400,000, somewhere around there. It fluctuates. But the one thing that, another thing that I picked up from your program was contracts. I mean, to me, that it's a no freaking brainer. Why wasn't I doing this before? And what I found that does is it qualifies that buyer when they're coming on. Are they your ideal client? I can't tell you over the years how many times I've wasted my time 2-3 months into SEO and these clients get flaky and they take off. This is a long-term commitment and it takes a long time to rank. And, I can't charge people $2,500 a month for SEO. So I have to budget a way to do that over a time period. And that's where we come in at $1,000, $1,500 a month, and then spread that out over 12 months. So
yeah, I remember when we first started talking, that was one of the things, that was an issue for you, kind of the people coming in and leaving and coming in and leaving, not because you didn't perform, but just because they weren't long-term type of people. Will it help with the retention rate? Do you feel like now that having that contract and that at least the mental expectation that this is long-term?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I can guarantee you we've lost sales because of it, but we've increased revenue and made our company stronger because we're not wasting our time with these people. And the way we're stacked, we want people to have results. So we put a ton of work in the first 3 to 6 months. And I mean, a ton of work. I don't even know if we make a profit sometimes, in those periods because the amount of work, the research and everything we do. So, instead of having that one guy coming in, paying me $3,000, we do a ton of work. We basically built the foundation for his SEO for the next 10 years of his life, and he doesn't even realize it. And then leaving, so it's really about relationships and building that relationship through the contract and expressing that if it becomes a concern.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And it's kind of a pill for most of us to swallow, but it does put a barrier to getting flaky clients that aren't really committed to the long term.
Yeah. And it's also, it's a good way to tell if that company is strong or not. Because if they're not strong, they won't sign it. And really, do you want to deal with companies that aren't strong? You've got to be prepared to go down this relationship path with us. And it's a long-term relationship. This isn't a short-term relationship. You're not paying me one time to do one thing. We're going to build your company over the next 12 months is what we're going to do. So if you're not invested in your business's growth, we don't have time for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think you just shared like probably one of the biggest keys to long-term success or failure in a local digital marketing agency is the ability to select the right kind of clients, right?
Yep.
If you're choosing the startup guy, the guy that hasn't done any marketing in the past, and you're working with him thinking you're going to save him and you're going to turn his business around, you're gonna have a really tough time. You're gonna land clients, lose client, land client, lose client. Whereas if you're choosing well-structured companies that have long-term vision, that have some experience behind them, that already invest in advertising, you're just helping to show them how to invest it more wisely.
Correct.
Those clients, you're not going to have 100% retention rate, but you're going to have a much higher stick rate. And, that was the thing that helped us at Plumbing and HVAC SEO, continue to grow, is because more than anything else, we've chosen good clients that see the value in what we bring to the table and also are easier to get results for. Let's face it, if they've been around a little bit and they had a website prior to starting up, you're tapping into some authority that makes everything you do easier.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I did an audit on a guy that he's been in business for 19 years. And I was just drooling over the SEO possibilities. Like, his on-page sucked. I'm like, oh my gosh, we can make this a winner in 2 months easily. So yeah.
And most of the clients really you guys should build your business on. The guys that have been around, they've got some authority to tap into. They're going to be around, 2-5 years from now, whether they work with you or not. And you can tap in and get them quick results that are tangible and measurable, as opposed to trying to create a brand new business, a brand new website, a brand new brand for them from the ground up.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit. So this is kind of an obvious question, but how did you choose the niche, the home cleaning services niche?
Well, I mean, that was, I'm an accidental marketer. That's really the only way to put it. But, the thing that I really loved about the cleaning industry was the owners in it. They are like-minded people. They're so generous to help other people. And really, that I already knew the industry too. So you put that combination together and it was a win-win for me. As a cleaning business owner, you have a lot of complaints with, you're arguing over small little things or trying to clarify with your customer your checklist versus what they expected. And it's, transactional relationships. And I like long-term relationships, long growth. So it was easy for me to take what I learned all through those years and implement it into the cleaning industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to me, that's the most obvious path. If you had a successful business and you're applying that to your niche, that's easy because you've got a great story. You've got all of this experience that you bring to the table. Don't be disheartened if you're watching this or you're joining this or you're listening to it and you're like, well, I don't have any past experience. Don't worry. Plumbing and HVAC SEO. I didn't run a plumbing company. I just took my internet marketing experience and applied it to it. But there are guys like Ray, guys like Brian in lawn care. They had the business, they sold it, and they're just having great success because the story is so strong and they have such a great baseline of experience. So if you have that, don't resist it, because I talked to some people, they're like, well, I don't want to do this particular niche. I was already in it. Well, listen, that's your easiest path. Don't fight it, right? Go down that path. That's your fastest path to success and really to easy cash flow.
Yeah. With that said, just because you're not an expert in the industry doesn't mean you can't become one. And everything is relationship based and value based. I can't tell you, I've over the first 2 years, all my business has been referral based. That's it. And it's other customers that were happy with the results that, tagged me in a Facebook group that said, hey, this guy's amazing. They've done great results for us. And then next thing you know, I get 5 or 6 inquiries and land a customer out of it, and that's the thing. Reviews and referrals, you just can't beat that value proposition when they come into you, So Here's a little tip for you guys starting out, and it's get into these industry Facebook groups. Don't go in there with your profile screaming, I'm a digital marketer. Go in there nonchalantly. Hey, I'm considering opening up a business. Get in there and then go through that post for the last 2 years and highlight about 10 of those top questions that they ask continually. And even read through some of the responses, because what you're going to get is your answer in there. You're going to hear other people giving these answers to these people, and then write a blog post about it. And then every time somebody asks that question, because you know they will, there's already 300 of them in the group over the last 2 years, drop your blog. Hey, I did an article about this. Here's the link if you want to read it. PM me if you need any help. And you're not selling, you're just adding value. And when people say, this guy keeps adding value and he's a marketer, they will naturally come to you.
That's a great tip, guys. I hope you wrote that down. I hope that you're going to go implement that. So in the group is probably a little bit easier for you because you came from the cleaning services space. Do you have any recommendations on how someone would find those types of groups within their niche and then get in without looking like the digital marketer out of the gates?
That's a tough one. I would continually add value because, right, most of us are business-minded people when we're digital marketers, we're agencies. So you can add value based on your knowledge alone too. Just on general business. Like, maybe your strength was accounting or something and an accounting question comes up. Answer that question and build that authority naturally before you start spamming the group with a bunch of blog posts, obviously. But you want to be interactive. One of the things, though, it can take up a lot of time. It can consume you. So be careful that it doesn't consume you. And to me, think about bringing somebody in as, I know Jeff recommends this, that you have like a sales assistant. And think about bringing them in and educating them on how to answer some of these things. So you're not spending all your time in there.
Yeah, great point. Great tip, right? And if you go through the archive of these interviews, some of the other really successful guys, that was like their number one play. Getting into the groups, not being obnoxious, but just answering questions, adding value. People start to think of you as the expert and you start to gravitate. People start to gravitate towards you. So great point. So we understand like kind of what your niche is. We understand kind of where you're at. Can you walk us through what your service mix or what your package looks like for these cleaning service companies? Like what is it that you're actually providing?
So again, with the cleaning industry, some of it, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself sometimes in these groups because a lot of these guys are somewhat new and they're just starting up and they're like, hey, how can I get business? But it's a great place to build your reputation and offer a low entry package too. And there's a question up here. 40 clients and only doing 300 tells me he has lower price monthly packages. Care to share how that's structured? So yeah, absolutely. AdWords, we've got it figured out for cleaning. It literally, we've run over 100 campaigns. We know how to properly structure it straight from the beginning. We do say we need 90 days to optimize the campaign, but it's a low entry package. They start at $400 a month and then $500 a month. And really that's to get them in and get that growth and then upsell them to the SEO. So it's kind of like a value ladder or a value proposition, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So yeah, that's why we have so many clients and the revenue seems low, is because we do have that low entry point where I'm trying to build them up into the pipeline.
So usually what you're leading with is the paid search, and then you're trying to tell them along the way, like you need a better, and I know you guys do amazing websites and you've got great content. So is it then ultimately like an SEO and pay-per-click package that you tend to kind of gravitate everybody towards?
Yeah. So, the goal is the king package, right? I want them to do Facebook, email marketing, reviews, AdWords, and SEO. But what I've found is a lot of these businesses, they like the lower tiered and they like stepping up to it. So, like I've got SEO guys that only do SEO with us, and they have other guys doing AdWords. I mean, we're the kings of AdWords. Why wouldn't you use us? So once we start doing our monthly meetings and we're building that rapport and we get them in, and it's like, hey, I know you're doing AdWords. And usually we get access to that account too, because we have a reporting dashboard that has the data, and people like to have it centralized. So we can actually go in and audit their AdWords and say, hey guys, I think there's an opportunity here for us to help you on that as well. So, there's a lot of trickle effect from the different packages that we have. So we have the core, which is everything. And then we have SEO and AdWords. Then we have SEO, and then we have AdWords only.
Nice. So you really kind of customize that package for your specific niche. That might be a little bit different than some of the others you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Yeah, the even though we have AdWords figured out, the return on investment can still be tough in this industry. And because of that, that's why we can't. The stuff we do in AdWords, people that charge $1,000 a month don't do in AdWords. I mean, we literally go all out. We have click fraud. We build the landing pages. We set up text marketing, voicemail drops, email follow-ups. We literally do everything we can to try to capture that sale.
Nice.
And we have it in a really good system. So I'm able to keep my costs down low and still make it profitable. I have an office in the Philippines. I have an office in Tijuana. And then I have an office here in Lapeer, Michigan, where I work out of. So my whole back end is literally outsourced based on our processes.
That's awesome. I want to hear more about that, because that's cool. That's cool stuff. So, you've got these 40 clients, and obviously you're growing at a pretty consistent rate. Everybody wants to know, like, how did it start? How did you get those first 5 clients? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I built my website, and I've kind of learned a process when building that website. And I mean, this is kind of you can take it for what it's worth. This may help some people. It may not help some people, depending on where you're at in your business. But I never had a team. It was just me. I was some guy. And what I did is I found a way to put that all together without having a team. So I had an outsourcer in India who did the web development. And then I used 99 Designs for our website packages. And this is something I did for my businesses. So I did it for me. I did it for my wife's real estate company, a couple of my friends, and my brother. And through this, I learned the process. So somebody asked me, hey, could you help me with web design? And I said, yeah, sure. So, I helped her out, and I used my outsourcers. I marked it up 50%, and I started making money. And then my first client, actually, I was only charging like $2,000. I wasn't making much money. Now, a custom site's 4,700, but back then when you're starting, you don't know what you don't know. So, so I got this guy for $2,000. I started building this site. He was working with an SEO, and I was totally okay with that. I didn't want his SEO business. We barely even offered it. I think I had one customer at the time, and his SEO guy just sent me this nasty email saying that I was trying to steal his customer. And it really bothered me. And I wasn't even going to say anything. And then I went back to the customer. I said, you know what? I forwarded it to him, and I said, listen, I'm not trying to steal your business. I'm just trying to help you with your website. I don't know why this guy is sending this. And he's like, you do SEO, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, let's do it. How much, And I was like, $1,500 a month. He's like, okay. So, that was my first SEO customer. And then I found some outsourcers that had really good results, and I was really happy with. And I used them for a couple of years until we opened the office in Tijuana. And it's kind of weird too. I've got a lot of unique things going on, but I have a partner that runs the office in Tijuana, and he is also a digital marketer, and we split the resources.
Mm.
So our SEO team is literally divided between us, and he heads it up, and he's an SEO ninja. So even though we talk and we meet bi-weekly, I'm not in the SEO part that much anymore. I'm more into the front end and the sales, and he handles all that for us. So, the results have been great. Having your own team, I absolutely love it. You can control every single aspect of it. You can keep up with trends, and you don't have to worry about what people aren't doing because you know what they're not doing.
Right.
Employee.
Yeah, I definitely want to drill down on that virtual team stuff. And you mentioned 99 Designs. There's lots of places to get sites done. For me personally, I feel like the quality of the designers that you have in 99 Designs are still top echelon. Like they just produce really nice stuff. Are you still using that at some level, or is the team in Tijuana kind of built from scratch?
So no, actually the team in the Philippines is for our website design and website development. So I have 2 full-time designers, 2 full-time developers, and everything is graphically done. And,
Nice.
and I feel like when you do graphic design versus like CSS and front-end editing, you literally, the opportunities are endless on what you can do on somebody's site, because a graphic designer has 100% freedom to do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He's not limited by the coding.
Right.
And our development team just has to know how to take that and put it into a website and look exactly like the graphic design does.
Yep.
So one of the things too, as you know, before I had my team, I built a couple relationships with some of those designers, and I used them. So I would do the homepage design through 99 Designs. I'd pay the $900 for the silver package or whatever it is. And then I'd work with them on the side to do the inner ones. And then I'd sub it out to the Indians. They'd build it out, and we'd have a beautiful website.
Nice. And that's, if you're getting started, that's probably a pretty decent play, right? Tap into some good quality resources that you don't have any overhead on, and you have a great product that you can deliver.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were delivering a high-end product, and I literally had no employees. Awesome. It was just a one-time fee here, a one-time fee there. It is what it is, and it's just you managing the job.
Good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about how you're landing clients today. So like what I know, one of the things I do want to talk about is the funnel. You've showed a couple screenshots of these people pre-qualifying themselves and jumping straight into your calendar. Can you talk a little bit about how you land the clients now and what that funnel process looks like?
So again, with niching down, it allowed us to speak more powerfully to our exact customer. So with a niche down website, I kept it stupid simple. Right now, it's just a one-page website with book your online schedule or download your internet marketing checklist. And we ran a Google AdWords campaign. There isn't a ton of competition in the cleaning industry for marketing. So, the cost per click is somewhat low. I'm lucky there. Knock on wood.
Stay out of cleaning, folks.
Stay away from my niche. But so we set the form up on Gravity Forms, and then we integrated it with Calendly. So when somebody comes on, they see my video, they begin to fill out the form, it flips them straight to the calendar, they book it. It's set for a 2-day window. So we have 2 days to get the proposal together. And then when it comes to the meeting, I put the proposal together, I send it 10 minutes before the meeting, and then I have the meeting with them. I go over our deck, I review the contract, and then if they want to move forward.
Nice. So are you landing clients through that the AdWords to the funnel piece, or is it still mostly like referrals and things?
No, I mean, it's a combination of both. So we're still tweaking the funnel. Like right now, I have it fully open. I want to take everybody. I don't care if it's a one-man army, because I want to refine my process right now.
Yep.
And really get into feeling the pain points that we're solving and where we're missing it. So right now, I'm not qualifying anybody. However, we will be. And then when we start to do that, our cost per acquisition is going to go up. I mean, we're converting at somewhere about $50 a lead right now, which
that's great.
To me, that's acceptable.
No doubt. That's fantastic.
I mean, 250 a lead's acceptable. So,
Sure.
if you're closing them, to me, I figure I've got that much room to qualify somebody. If I'm going to pay 250 per qualified lead, then, there's 3 or 4 that I can kind of push out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we do that, what I'm doing is I already started to build our qualifying process. And once I feel like I'm ready to implement it, if somebody is if they say like it's just me right now, or they're under 100K in revenue, or they're under 250 in K, it's just going to get an automated packet like, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to fill out the form. Based on the information you've entered in the form, our packages are somewhat expensive. They begin at, $1,000 a month minimum monthly investment. So if you're not at that stage, here's some things that we suggest you do to begin your business growth, and things that you can do, like guerrilla marketing kind of stuff, and I've got a bunch of checklists and, tips on collecting reviews for Yelp and stuff like that. So we're still adding value, and we're still keeping them in our funnel in case they do get to that point. But, we're not totally wasting our time with going through with an hour audit and then, giving them all this free advice for nothing.
Yeah, powerful. I unpacked that strategy pretty in depth in the 7-Figure Agency membership. So, if you want to see what that looks like, go to 7figureagency.com. You can learn more about that process. One thing that you said that we found to be pretty effective is they fill out the questionnaire, and then for a long time we would just take them straight to calendar like you do. Then we wind up with a bunch of unqualified leads. And so we are filtering them. So if they put less than 1,000, they're going to a sales page for a product. The other thing we've been testing is just to have an autoplay video that just says, hey, look, like you said, unfortunately, this is really made for people doing more than $1,000 per month. If for some reason that is of interest to you still, and you can afford to spend $1,500 plus per month, we'll just click the button. We'll still meet with you. You might want to try that, because if you tell them this is how much it is and they start to say, no, I want you, I don't care, I've got money from some venture capitalist, or I've got money set aside, I can afford to make the investment, even though my current marketing budget is small or my current income is small. I bet you get 1 in 10 that are just basically like, no, I don't care how much it is, I want to hire you regardless, and give me a shot.
Yeah, that's I'm going to make a note on that too, because I think we should. So yeah, ask for the calendar booking on unqualified leads. Yep. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Because I mean, if they've got the money and they're willing to invest into it, I mean, this is the problem though that I find with a lot of people that are in the lower, like, let's say that's all they got, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you everything I got to my marketing. The pressure to perform is like through the roof.
Yeah.
And all these sites are brand new, half of them are crap, they're just not structured right. So you need to give them a website. So there's a lot that goes into that. And I'm okay with doing that if they're willing to commit to a contract. Again, here goes back to that, great, we sold you. Now, how do we qualify you into the next aspect of, are you a good customer for us? So, yeah.
Cool. So, all right, so it sounds like the two main things are the Facebook groups that kind of lead you to referral relationships, the fact that you had the great background in the industry, running some pay-per-click ads, and of course the organic. Sounds like you're already ranking for a lot of the cleaning, internet marketing, SEO, pay-per-click keywords. Are you involved in the association at all? Like, are there any other channels that you use to pull new customers into the fold?
Yeah. So was it last year or the year before? I don't remember. I've been doing this about a year and a half full time. Okay. So, when I owned my cleaning business, and even when I started working as a digital marketer, I actually had a full-time job and traveled all over the US training software. So it was kind of like a side hustle that I grew into. But since I was able to give this my full-time, yes, absolutely. So there's software specific industry meetups I attended and I've spoke at, and I do plan on doing a lot more of those too. And sometimes, I just grab my wife and we go out and we just kind of sit with the cleaning business owners and listen to the speeches and shake hands and, go out to dinner with them and, drink beers and hang out, so I like that casual approach. I'm not a real salesy guy. I kind of just tell it how it is. So, for me, that fits.
Yeah, that works well. I mean, you want to have a diversified marketing strategy. And it sounds like that's what you have. You've got some, internet-based inbound marketing. You've got some like group-based relational marketing, and you're willing to get out from behind your desk and go meet with people face-to-face and hang out where they hang out. And that's probably a big driver of the success that you're having in your agency.
Yeah. It's hard to scale at that level, but that's where, that's where we're ready to like grow and start doing the webinars that you're doing and getting really valuable content out there. I mean, content marketing cannot be underestimated. It is so freaking powerful. And, it starts like with that example that I gave in those Facebook groups, that even if you don't participate in those groups, go in there and create blog posts based on those, and they're going to rank organically. And you're going to get, people searching on Google, how do I start my cleaning business? What's the best way to advertise? Ad copy examples. You know how many searches we get a month for ad copy examples for cleaning services? Probably like 350.
Wow.
So that's a month. That's that many people looking for that stupid term that you never would even think of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's another thing I found too. So with our niche site, I have done 0 SEO on it. I literally put it up for paid ads and that was it so far. When we started running the AdWords campaign, I already had the keywords ready to track. What I noticed happened is the site started ranking for the terms that people were clicking on our ads. So if Google tells you there's no such thing as CTR, they're lying, and they lie all the time. So don't ever pay attention to them. Just keep testing and keep seeing what works. So there is a SEO factor through the Google AdWords. And I noticed whenever I got like a new keyword that I wasn't targeting that maybe came through as a search term, I started ranking for it. It's the weirdest thing. So there is some value there too.
Very, very interesting stuff. So you got the organic play and the pay-per-click play. I'm sure you guys have questions. We got some of you live on Facebook, live with us. Start putting those into the comments box because we're gonna try and address a couple of your questions. But I want to kind of shift gears from we've got our niche, we've got our marketing strategy where the clients come from. Now let's unpack like how do we get the work done? And in your case, it sounds like virtual team, but like working for you dedicated. Just kind of talk me through that because you do some really cool things with how you systematize the websites and how you manage your virtual teams.
Yeah. So one of the questions here is how much do I sell a website for and do I have different packages? The answer is yes. We literally have packages for everybody. So one thing that I found in the cleaning industry is the established people, $4,700, they don't have a problem paying that. They will pay that all day long for a good website that they're happy with. Again, in these Facebook groups, some of these guys just starting up, hey, I'm wanting to launch a cleaning business. I need a website. So what we did is we built pre-made website themes. And they are semi-custom themes because here's the problem. If you buy a theme, you still have to pay somebody to tweak it, right?
Yep.
So we have the theme, the content's already all written out and done for 80% of it. The things you don't have are like the about us, the facts, and, the city landing pages. That stuff still needs to be built out. But, the themes are in depth. Like if somebody had to pay for one of our themes, I think there's 13 different pages / elements to it. We have like a testimonials page, we have a reviews page, we have an employment page, like everything you would ever need in a website is in these themes. And because they're already built, we can sell them at a lower rate, which we sell those for $2,800. I have a one-time and a two-pay option. So they can pay me one time, 2,500 for the whole theme, or they could pay me 1,400 payments month after month, and it's 2,800.
Got it. And so that's for the kind of the prefabbed, and then you have another one that's more custom for the higher end guys. That's at like the 4,600.
Yeah, 4,700 is, and I got to tell you, web design is tough. It is tough. It takes a lot of management. So having your processes in place are key to this. I mean, it is tough. Even with, I've been through 2 project managers now, and both time we let them go, I lost 0 productivity. And I spend like an hour a day in there, okay, here's our comments, here's our changes, and I'm done. It's like, I don't know.
Having the systems makes a big, huge difference.
Yeah.
The other thing is when you're niche focused, like Ray is, he can develop a world-class structure. Like what would a best-in-class cleaning website look like? What elements would it have? What pages would it have? What would the call to actions be? And kind of have a framework that's proven that he can roll out, systematize. Not that it's completely templatized from one site to the next, but at least the framework, which I would imagine really reduces the amount of time per new client.
It does. So, and this is the core to those themes. So the theme is laid out, content's there, buttons are there, functionality's there. On the onboarding form, we ask for the content for the inner pages. So the customer actually creates, hey, we need the about us, hey, we need the facts, hey, we need this. They complete that. So by the time they came on to us, we have all the information to build this theme out. And we just basically take their logo, we change the color of the theme to match. We do this graphically on the homepage. So we'll design out the homepage based on their logo, based on their location, based on their name, change the footer links and all that stuff. And then say, all right, here's what the site's going to look like. They say, yep, good. We take it back to the development team, and the development team just changes the site to that color and that location and that name. So
nice. Super streamlined, right? And that's how you want to get your business. And it's hard to do that if you're not in a niche, because you're reinventing it every single time. Can you talk a little bit about like this virtual team and how you developed the virtual team concept and how you manage those guys? So
again, when I first started in this industry, I had no team. I literally outsourced everything. I had outsourcers for SEO that I managed. The one area I struggled with outsourcing was content. That was a huge freaking battle. But we figured that out. I had the group in India that did all my web design and technical stuff, conversion tracking setup, and anything we needed that I couldn't do myself, they handled. And then I had a designer that I plucked from 99 Designs that I worked with to do some of the graphic stuff. So I literally, when I was doing 100,000 in sales, I had no employees. It was me with them, and their flat fees. Like, I had an agreement with my designer, like it was $250 for a home page and then $75 for every inner page. And then I just paid them to do that. So I already had the concept in my head of this remote team and kind of how to do it. And then that's when I met my partner, who now manages the office in Tijuana. He already had an office in the Philippines with web designers and developers. So, and I was looking to scale because we were growing. So I just partnered in with him on that office, and then we hired more people and trained them there. And, it actually became its own system. So we already have developers there. We already have designers there. So if we need to scale, we hire somebody new that has the aptitude, and our team trains them.
Nice.
So it's really easy to kind of, hey, we're at our next 100,000. I need, another designer. I need another developer. We got to add somebody into the SEO team. So it's pretty easy.
It sounds like you've got this operations piece really dialed in. Where do you think you're going to need to scale next? Either on the sales side or on the account management side, or maybe any other area in the company as you grow to 60, 70, 100 plus clients?
The bleeding neck for me right now is customer support.
Mm-hmm.
And it always has been, to be honest. And it's, that's why I bought this off. That's why I got this office here. I was working out of my house, and I literally had two offices I have never been to. I had one in Tijuana. I pay half the rent there. I have one in the Philippines. I paid half the rent there, and I've never even seen them. So, when I was thinking like, all right, what's this next year look like for me? I've got to get an office, and I've got to get somebody in here to help me. I can't do this all. So I really need somebody to help me manage the client so I can focus on sales, and then eventually somebody to help me on sales too, so I can just be the brand for the business like you are.
Yeah. And that's usually the model, right? You're good at sales, so you continue to focus on that, and you build an operations team to make sure that stuff gets done. And then it's like, wait a minute, I can't talk to these clients all the time in order to retain these relationships. So your next move is to hire that account manager, that customer service person. Is that someone you envision putting at that office, it sounds like, in Michigan?
Absolutely, yes. I did hire somebody in Tijuana, and it just didn't work out. He was with us for a couple months, and we ended up letting him go. But it's like, it's probably the single most important part to anybody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Screw the results, screw SEO, forget AdWords. If you're not maintaining that relationship, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to fail. And I know this firsthand because I've done it, and I'm still doing it, unfortunately. But that's the bleeding hole that we need to fix.
Yeah, I think the critical insight for you guys here is, yes, build a virtual team if you want, go international for operations. When it comes to client account management, the people that talk to your customers, that retain the relationship, that kind of plant that vision and keep them with you month after month, you definitely want probably a US-based person for that. Ideally, somebody that you can meet with and kind of look eye to eye, like Ray's doing, if possible. It doesn't have to be, but I think that's a pretty smart play to keep your customer-facing folks US-based and at least
your technical team, the process guys, the guys that can handle the tasks that if you had US-based employees, it would be super expensive. So.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's also why we can keep our prices down as low as they are, because I can leverage that labor. At some point I want to get to a value proposition where they have no idea I'm leveraging that labor, and that they feel like everybody's US based. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Good stuff. So a couple of good questions have come in. I just want to kind of bring them up. Scott's asking, what were some of the challenges you were facing specifically when you decided to join the seven-figure agency?
Brand identity. I was trying to be everything to everybody, and it just wasn't working. I've got some paying clients, and we've turned them into multi-million-dollar businesses. I've got a plumbing client that, we've helped grow. So, but really, just drilling into the core of who we are and who we want to be over the next 10 years. And it just makes so much sense to me to niche down and focus in one core and to solve those problems specifically for that industry, because each industry has very specific problems. I've got a flooring client, they have very specific problems that are very specific to them. And when you have worked with that client, you have learned their pain points. And really from there, it's just pick your niche and go.
Yeah.
I mean, don't overthink this. A niche is a niche.
Good stuff. Great question, Scott. There's another question from Ricardo, which was, at what point did you decide to transition from like the 99 design setup to like starting to build your own team? Was there a revenue threshold or a monthly recurring threshold, or what prompted that transition?
It was one of the scariest decisions I've ever had to make, really, to be honest, because I went from having like this no responsibilities, essentially. I had everybody else doing stuff. So all I had to handle was the client aspect. It was scary getting into training, hiring, firing, systems, but I knew that I had to have that to grow it how I want, because I'm a control freak. and I want everything to work right for my customers. And it's so important for me that that happens, that I felt this was the necessary step that I needed to take to really start growing and scaling this. I don't want mediocre results for my clients. I want the best damn results that they could possibly get. And the only way that I know that's going to happen is if I control it. And I can't control that with outsourcing. So that's really what made me decide this is what I want to do. You know, not to mention, you know, my partner, he's a SEO ninja. So, you know, even though I feel like I'm good, you know, he's 10 times me. So I also had that kind of value sitting there that I could leverage, you know, and it worked for both of us. So
that's great to have. And I think your philosophy is right. I think everybody listening, that should be your philosophy. The results are probably the most important thing that you do. Yes, you have to position yourself. Yes, you have to go out and land clients. But if you're not serving your clients and you're not making them win and getting them a tangible, measurable return on investment, you don't have a business. You don't have a foot to stand on. So really focus on that quality, focus on the impact that you make for your clients, and everything else will take care of itself. So I think that was an awesome question and an awesome answer. Jonathan's asking, what platforms have been most effective for getting results for your clients? You know, is it Facebook ads? Is it AdWords? Is it SEO? Is it a combination?
So, you know, our strength is web design, SEO, and AdWords. We haven't really mastered the Facebook for cleaning yet, although I think we can. But the problem is, you know, we're still working on those systems to make sure that, you know, everything's handled where I don't have to be involved so much, that I'm not ready to take that piece of the pie on. And since AdWords is working for us, you know, why not? Why change it? And since SEO is working for us, why change it? I don't care what industry you're in, SEO is going to help you, you know? So I don't care what industry you're in, AdWords will help you if it's done right, you know? So as long as you're executing those things and doing them right, I don't think the platform really matters.
Great point. Yep. Same for us. SEO, pay per click, great website built to convert. That's the foundation of what we do. We do it as a package. So it's combined, right? So we know we can kind of draft on the results of the pay-per-click campaign at the beginning, and then long-term have the SEO and have a blended result for our client that's undeniable, right?
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely. And the better you get with the SEO, the better the click-through rate for your ads. So if you're ranking on that same page 2 times, you know, you're there, 30% of people will click the ads, 70% will go to organic. You have, it depends what industry you're in, but you have 3 to 5 opportunities to show up on that home page. So leverage every single opportunity you have to get there.
No doubt. Yeah. So if you guys have any other questions, put them in the comments. I'll ask you, Ray, do you have any other nuggets of wisdom that you would share to that digital marketing agency owner that's trying to get to the next level?
Yes. Have benchmarks and know when you're ready to scale. Yeah, it's probably been a huge struggle for me. You know, it's like, and again, this goes without having contracts, because that's how we operated for 2 years. I created an instability in my company by doing that. And when you do that, it makes it harder to scale, because if the guy's gone next month, how are you going to hire somebody? So, you know, implementing that 12-month contract is key for our success and key for our growth. And it makes us stronger. And customers should want to work with a strong company, in my opinion. So if they want us to be strong, we want them to be strong. It's the perfect relationship.
No doubt. Scott's asking, are you going to stick with the lower price entry point, or are you going to try and move to more of a higher level package pricing, or what are your thoughts on that front moving forward?
I'm still debating that, because I don't feel that the one-time services, you know, are like a golden nugget or anything. It's a revenue stream and it works, but I think I need to kind of figure out how I can implement that in more of a longer term strategy and a longer term growth plan. And that it goes again with picking the right customer. So, as we start doing, the Facebook lives and marketing on Facebook and the posts, and we really have our processes refined through the sales process where we show that value the whole time. I do plan eventually on kind of adapting away from that program and integrating it more into a whole thing like what you do with the SEO, web design, and AdWords is one.
Sure. Good question. Good question, Scott. Just out of curiosity, on the funnel that you're running these the pay-per-click ads to, and you said it's about $50 per lead on average at this point, unfiltered. Like, how many leads are you able to generate for such a specific niche? If you have that number, if they have that data.
So funny thing, I thought my site was hosted on a hosting I purchased just for it, so I deleted it on our hosting and realized they never transferred it. So we had to rebuild it. So right now we're kind of rebuilding it again, and the campaign's paused. But for the 3 weeks that we ran it, we've generated about 15 bookings.
Nice. That's phenomenal. So when you say, like, for those of you guys that are looking at this, you're like, man, I don't think anybody searches in my niche. I don't think anybody searches as a fence contractor for an internet marketing company for their fence business. I don't think anyone searched for a cleaning service that can, an internet marketer for their cleaning service. Ray's a living testament that people were searching. They were coming into the funnel. They were showing up on his calendar pre-booked to buy. Would you say these were people that knew you already because of your background, or were they kind of net new, straight cold from the internet?
People I would have never met in my life if I wasn't running Google Ads. Really, that's what I'm seeing coming through. I had a guy, he's been in business for 17 years. He spends $5,000 a month on marketing through Home Advisor. Doesn't have a website, never had a website. And, he's doing $500K a year.
Unreal.
So, I mean, like, that guy, he doesn't go to meetings. He's not on Facebook. He barely even knows what the internet is. He just knows that if he hustles those leads from Home Advisor, he'll grow his business, right?
Yep.
Perfect customer. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better customer there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, we can help you. We can definitely help you.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And so I guess to further that concept, so these are coming in through paid ads. And I think, Ray, you've mentioned kind of your next iteration. The next thing you're going to focus on is content marketing. Imagine when you've got webinars speaking directly to this space on all of the things that your expert status at, like setting up their website and running their pay-per-click campaigns.
Yep.
And or you start doing interviews like this with successful home cleaning service companies on how they're marketing themselves and how they're growing. Like, that's for us in plumbing HVAC SEO is where a lion's share of our lead flow comes in, just because our prospects sit on these types of interviews that I do with plumbing companies. They sit on the webinars, and then even more inbound opportunity for your business for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's no argument. When somebody finds you organically, they become more loyal to you right off the get, just because they feel like they found you, you didn't find them. And then when you open up these amazing packages that are industry specific that they didn't even know existed, they're just, oohing and awing over it. Like, yeah, why would I use Joe's marketing in Toronto when I have an industry specific person? So you've already created a stronger value proposition by being niche down. So now all you have to do is sell it.
Yeah.
And
no
you're
doubt.
already,
I mean, this
you're already one step above them for that.
Absolutely. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for your generosity of spirit to come on and kind of share the inner workings of your business and your success. Anything you want to say as a parting word before we wrap up today's interview?
Absolutely. Again, I just want to stress the fact that everything that you preach, if followed, will work. And I'm proof that it works because it's working for me, and it's allowing me to scale and get out of this job that I created for myself, because before I found you guys, that's what I had, a job. That's actually what I have now is a job, and I need to get this into a business. And these systems, I mean, you've got the contracts, you've got all the HR stuff. I mean, this would cost me thousands to produce myself, and I don't even know if I'd have it covered right. So, I just can't thank you enough for all that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Congratulations on your continued success. I can only imagine where you'll be 6 to 9 months from now. So keep pressing forward, keep hitting the ground running. Ray is in the Facebook group, so if you have follow-up questions, be sure to tag him there. If you'd like to listen to more interviews like this, ideas, strategies, techniques on how to really effectively grow your digital marketing agency, go to sevenfigureagency.com, hit the blog section or the podcast section. You'll find all kinds of content just like this, and I'd love to share with you. So thanks for joining us. Have an amazing day, and we will talk to you guys again soon.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.